Hello everyone, it's Nick here, and I've got my coat on because it's a bit cold now. The heating's playing up in the house and we've hit October and it's a lot colder than September, so I guess now's the countdown to the winter months where we see a creepy Halloween and then Christmas. Hooray! So Christmas adverts will be on soon if they're not already. Yeah. It's time for a vlog, which I do every now and again. It's important to speak in front of the camera. So what's this one about? Well, it's a good juncture here. Since the reboot of the channel, because before it was just me putting up gameplay videos without any commentary and the quality wasn't brilliant, low resolution. But 3 years ago, rebooted the channel. I think it's about November the 11th there. And yeah, 3 years ago, so 3 years have gone past. So what have we learned? Well, I'm still in the game, somehow. And you take your knocks and you learn stuff like... Sorry, I'm on a bit of an uneven surface as well. I should have set this up a bit better. But my shadow's still there, so that's good. So as long as that's comfortable. What am I going on about? I don't know. But just a big thanks to everyone that subscribed those 3 years and put comments below and suggested what videos I should review. It's been good. I've learned how to deal with trolls, which there have been many. Some are a bit more vicious than others, but it's something you get used to as you go along and you learn to ignore them from a great bit. Now 3 years ago, back in those times of 2013, didn't really have too much of a clue how to make videos just by watching other people's. I had about 86 subs. I went a bit mad and just started doing lots and lots of Amiga videos. Sound quality wasn't that good at the time, which I've mentioned before. It was just me basically plugged into the microphone jack with a pair of broken headphones where I just had the two cups and spoke into them. So it felt like sometimes I was a bit like Darth Vader. I was speaking underwater. It was a bit hit and miss how good the sound was, but most of the time it sounded a bit muffled. But all the time I was gaining experience and knowledge and gradually learning how to make videos and finding my place. Got a bit of unwanted attention by a couple of larger channels at the time, so it's important if you've got a small channel just building up to not take criticism too harshly. Sometimes people that know you better would put some comments along saying you've done stuff wrong, this, that and the other. There was one in particular which got me down at the time, which is a much larger channel that was just doing Amiga games. I noticed on one of their forums that the actual person said that my channel was boring and nothing of interest and gave it a poor rating. Not just mine, a few other channels as well. And then very unprofessionally they reviewed their own channel and gave it a 10 out of 10. What's that all about? That's a bit weak, but anyway. Got me down at the time, but just ignored it and gradually improved, and hopefully I've got better since that point. What really helped me back in that time when I was struggling on below 100 subs, which was largely gained by the non-talky game players I'd done, I got not one but two shout outs by Steve Benway. If you're unaware of him, I really recommend you check out his channel. Just got over 15,000 subs, so he's doing something right. He's been here for years, knows his stuff. I could watch his videos for hours and hours. He can talk forever. Got quite a lot of knowledge and friendly too. So if you're unaware of that channel, you're missing out there. Check that out, Steve Benway. So another shout out for him, and well deserved. It's not all about subs though, although that helped. Gave me about 100 or so. It's about views and building up a team of people that talk about stuff, and there are a few of you that talk about on every videos. Sometimes we agree, sometimes we don't agree. We have a bit of a discussion in an adult way. We do the odd rubbish joke, and I'm very pleased. Some people comment for a bit and then disappear and come back again. Other people comment for a bit and then disappear completely. Then new people come in. So it's a bit cyclic, but some of you are long term as well. So thank you everyone that's been there for the majority of those 3 years. I started doing Commodore Amiga vids first of all. I wondered whether I should specialise on that, but to vary it up a bit, then we did ZX Spectrum. Game Boy Advance games come a little bit afterwards. PlayStation and PlayStation 3. Dabbled a little bit of iOS, so games on the iPhone, but then sort of like ditched that after 3 or 4 ones. They weren't too bad. It's a way of going forward, but I want to concentrate on the other systems I was looking at, all that I've owned growing up. So there's one from the 8-bit era, which is ZX Spectrum, then the 16-bit era, which is Commodore Amiga, as I mentioned, then Game Boy Advance, which is 32-bit, handheld, and the PlayStation, and going up there. Now, at the start I made too many videos, loads and loads. Well, was it too many? I sort of like learned what I was doing, and some of it was a bit of overkill. Quite often you can get burnout, so it's good to take a step back and look at stuff and see how you can improve. Because if you keep going on and on and on, there's no time for research and development. And when I did take a step back, quite a while now, I bought a microphone, which seemed pretty expensive at the time for the level of traffic this channel was getting, but I think it's benefited, and in the end of the day you can say it's not really a business enterprise, we say it's a hobby, just like getting an expensive fishing rod or a go-kart, I don't know why I said that, or expensive paints, all that sort of stuff. So it was worth it, and I hope it's reflected in the videos. I'm not saying I'm perfect, I've still got a lot to learn about video production there. Sometimes I get messages about people asking you what sort of equipment I use, and I generally answer them. It's pretty basic setup actually. When I first started, in terms of film-wise, when I'm filming myself talking, they look very dark, those, in terms of lighting. I've now got, well, I've got 2 lamps, but I've only got one in front of me facing at the moment, and a room light. I could have another one over there, but I don't think it's necessary today. The original filming was done on a laptop camera, not a separate one actually built into the screen. That's pretty low resolution. Now we're using not an expensive camera, but it gets the job done. It's called, if you're interested, it's called a Canon Legra HF R56. So it's pretty, I don't know if that's a mid-range or mid to low range, I would say. At the time it cost about 200, which again seemed a bit like a overkill. Well done. Hobby again, put it in the hobby category. But there are cameras, if you're really professional about it, going up to £1,000 and beyond. We have a separate microphone on that also to try and boost the quality. Will I ever get one of those? Well, that's a huge expense, so probably not. I think this is adequate for the time being. I'm not really, although it'd be nice, I'm not planning to make any movies or anything like that. Very recently, because it's good to experiment there, when I do the 2-week roundups, there's quite a lot of graphics there, which have improved ever so slightly. The next one, some of the overlays hopefully be better resolution, which I've been looking at. It's a bit hard to tell. Let's put the two resolutions below. Now there's the first one. That's a bit like when I introduce the game that comes up, and we'll put the new one above that. Is it looking any better? Well, maybe marginally. So those tech bods out there, the bottom one is a resolution of 2080 by, I think, 720 screens for that. The other one is like 1920 by whatever that was. Well done, that was very technical. It's higher resolution, and when condensed down to the screen, particularly on bigger TVs, hopefully the difference is a bit better. And we've rounded off the fonts, the letters, give that a bit of dithering, a bit of shadowing. But it's only a small thing, but it all adds to the production quality of the thing. What do I use for, this is what I got asked a few times, what do I use for video editing? At the time, I used a conventional Windows PC. At the time when I first started, I used Windows Movie Maker. It's free, and I really recommend getting the use of that. There's a few fades on there. You can edit footage quite easily, save it in MP4, which I always find is the best quality. Do 720p, which this is up here, or 1080p, or various others, or optimise it for various displays. That's good. You can change the level of the sound on it. Also, the one bad thing about it, it's a bit limited. There's only one track, so you know, for doing things like overlays and stuff, you can't really do it too much on that, I don't think. Graphical overlays, I mean. So now I use, it's quite a cheap version, it's Sony, what's it called? I've written it down here. Sony Movie Studios, I think. Movie Studios, you probably know it. It's something like that anyway. I think it's version 12. Advantage of that, it's got multiple tracks. You can do graphical overlays, although you have to mess about with it. It's got tutorials. It's one of those things where you think about doing something and then just mess about with it, doing fake overlays, dissolves. You're going to do a lot wrong, but but it's a bit of a trial and error before you actually put it on YouTube. You also do multiple soundtracks as well, which is good for mixing sound together, which I also found quite useful. It's very fascinating. I mean, the more you learn about these things, the more you get sucked in, the more you want to do more in terms of film, what I did. If you got your own channel there, please comment below what you always think, or what you use, or what's found very helpful. Some people have mentioned to me After Effects, which I haven't used up to this point, or you can join a network, which I haven't done, but I'm sure there's benefits there, and they've got a lot of preset graphics for you, so a lot of people find that useful, so check that out as well. The advantage, I think, although none of them's better, that's what you prefer, the advantage of trying to learn and doing your own graphics is if you quickly want to change something, you can do, and it's more bespoke, although it does take more of your time if time is at an optimum there. The graphics are generally designed on Paint, that comes, yeah, again, that's a free thing that comes with your computer, I think it still does, and also a very old version of Paint Shop Pro, that was before Photoshop come out, is a precursor to that, but gets the basics done, and quite quickly there. That's good. The most important thing I found with doing the channel is always have a schedule. There's nothing worse than getting home from work really tired, thinking, oh no, I need to put a video up, what can I do? And then you can't think of anything. So what I tend to do, on the computer I have a file opened, a notepad, and I have the next 14 days there, and I write down what I'm going to do on those days and try and get ahead of myself. Sometimes there's late changes in there, but if you've got 2 weeks ahead, then you know, if you can't think of something, at least you've got 2 weeks to think about it. Sometimes there's gaps and such, like for example, I've got a set schedule, so I know every Saturday I'm putting up, at the moment at least, I'm putting up a ZX Spectrum game. Every Sunday a Commodore Amiga one. Mondays tends to fluctuate, like a Game Boy Advance or a PlayStation. Tuesday at the moment is the new series I've started, revisiting the Spectrum games that I did before when my microphone was rubbish, so I isolated 17 readers, that's Tuesdays. Wednesdays is free at the moment. Thursdays tends to be a pinball game. At the moment it's Zen Pinball 2 we're going through, although we will ditch back to Pinball Arcade. And Fridays like today, it alternates between the 2-week roundup, where we have a look at all the videos we review to pull it together in some shape or form to give it some shape, and then these sort of like vlogs. Now it's possible as well, because although I try and hide it well, as I mentioned before, I think just on passing, although we focus on positive generally, I've been suffering quite a bit from stress and gone to the doctors about that, but that's another issue. So I think I might be doing some, of the times available, some quick rants. I know that's not me, is it, ranting? But that's just to ease stress. So you can sort of like be my psychiatrist or facilitator while I rant about some odd bit of news briefly, and then hopefully I keep my brain together. I'm not saying that's definitely going to happen, but it might do. I have a keen interest in the news. It's not going to be anything like Mock the Week or anything, if you're familiar with that programme, but it might help there. Have I got anything else to cover here? I do write a list, as sometimes gets on the screen here, but it's good to have notes to refer back to. I don't think so. So I've pretty much covered it. Thank you for watching. You've been with me for these 3 years and been subbing and viewing, but more importantly, commenting, because that's the big thing. I've given you a bit of an overview of the sort of things I use. If you've got any other questions about that, or if you've got a building channel or want a question about what I use to record anything else, there's a program called Audacity, which sometimes I mix the sound with as well. So that's quite helpful if you want to look at that. That's free too. Okay, so thanks for watching the videos. Have a most wonderful weekend. Hope it's been interesting for you. And till next time, take good care of yourself and a very warm goodbye.
Goodbye.